All right, everybody, welcome to another great episode of Framing New Heights. My name is Michael Hicks. I am your host with the most. And today, before I drop our topic that I'm going to discuss, a word from our sponsors. Unlock your true full potential with my Live to Thrive life coaching and mindset coaching. Are you ready to transform your life in one simple step? It just takes one step, that next step moving forward. And at Live to Thrive, I believe in the power of small, consistent changes, which then leads to improvements. My unique framework focuses on becoming 1% better each day in mind, body, and soul. Here's what I offer: the mind. Develop a more clear growth mindset. What that does, it enhances your mental clarity, and thus you can conquer challenges and life with confidence. Secondly, body. 3 published ebooks, workout sent to your phone. Embrace a healthy lifestyle, boost the energy you want while you are still a parent, and achieve those fitness goals. Soul, which I like to call purpose. Discover your true purpose, cultivate inner peace, and live a more fulfilling, balanced life. As a dedicated life coach with nearly 25 years of experience, I will guide you to your journey of personal excellence, helping you overcome obstacles and reaching new heights. Together, we'll create a customized plan tailored to your unique needs and aspirations. So don't wait now. Join Live to Thrive today and start living your best, most purposeful life. Make sure you contact us and schedule your free consultation by simply going to www.livetothrive.com. Unlock better sleep and pain relief with CBD oil. And guess what? It's Amish tested. Struggling with those sleepless nights or constant aches and pains? This premium CBD oil is tested and trusted by the Amish community. And it's a solution for natural relief. And guess what? For restful nights. And I have a special offer for just Framing New Heights listeners. For a limited time, receive 50% off at checkout with promo code New Heights. That's all capitalized. Again, promo code New Heights. So why choose this specific CBD oil? Well, it's Amish tested, which I already stated, and has proven quality and effectiveness. You want to sleep better? Say goodbye to restless nights and hello to a peaceful slumber. And also pain relief. Soothe those aches and pains naturally and effectively. So don't miss out and go to www.envitamins.com and use promo code New Heights at the checkout and claim your 50% discount. Join the Framing New Heights community today and start living a pain-free and well-rested today. All right, fam, I'm about to get into this topic for today. Have you ever, for a second, stopped to think about what drives the choices you make in life? Have you ever thought about that? Well, like the influences that base your decision to pursue maybe a certain career, maybe form friendships, or connect with that romantic partner. Now imagine alternating just one small detail. Like, let's say, for example, you just visit a different cafe than you usually do. Check this out. That single change could lead to a completely different life story. And that's what I want to get into today. Today's podcast is going to be about the influences of our decisions, how they pursue you to lead a quality life. And going back to that example, that single change could completely alter your life story. It could possibly mean that you are meeting the love of your new life. or you're reconnecting with an old friend who maybe offered you a cool business opportunities. I've been in many of those opportunities, and it's a pretty cool thing. Or maybe, just maybe, you're testing a dish that's so incredible that it shifts your perspective entirely. So the question then becomes, what guides these moments? So stick with me here. Is it destiny? Is it karma? Or would you say it's simply luck? I'm going to even go a step farther. The truth is, it's much more straightforward than what you think. Two simple words. It's you. I said it. Because you shape your life through both the big decisions, like maybe moving to a new country or launching a new business, or maybe picking up a particular book, or even striking up a conversation, you guys, with a stranger. So here's the thing. Your decisions, not only do they shape your future, but they also shape the type of person that makes your decisions. And sometimes it isn't very easy because I want to break down it gives you like three key areas that I'm going to break it down. And this is the reason why these decisions shape our future. Here they go. The first one is starting representation of the excitement of stepping into the unknown. So embrace that for a second. Think about something brand new and stepping into it and having no experience of it. So it's like a blank slate. And this is what's so great about it. You get to create, you have the freedom, I should say, to create the story, however you choose it to be. The second one, it is staying offers security. I want to say that again. If you stay wherever you are, it offers security. So if you're content with where you are, it often makes sense to keep things as they are. Whether, let's just say, it's maintaining friendships or staying in a career you absolutely love. And now the third piece requires some bravery, and that's leaving, right? So it's about letting go of something particular. Maybe it's a thing, maybe it's people that maybe no longer add value to your life. I recently just was having this conversation with a few of my clients, is actually two in particular, is I asked them, what value is that bringing in your life? Does it provide a positive value or a negative value? Now, these three things. So number one, starting represents the excitement of stepping into the unknown. So something new, right? Blank slate. That was number one. Number two, kind of staying wherever you're at because it supplies security. I get it. And number three, you leave because you have bravery, because you no longer value certain things in your life. There's a big thing here. And I know often decision making can be really, really tough. When I get on my journey calls with clients and then we talk about how I can solve their problem, and when I get to the point of saying, okay, my services cost a fee, right? They cost a particular fee. And sometimes when they got to make a decision, that decision can be tough. Because my program is, I've got a variation of programs, but it can be a very expensive program for those that really they don't want to create that change that they've been longing for. And then what happens is they go through this life with fails and creeps or let me say it, with failures and doubts that creep in. So, and then here's the thought that many people have when we're going through this decision making is, what if it fails? Or what if I lose my chance? And if you've been asking yourself these simple questions, these will guide you and help you clarify your priorities to make the process simpler. So I'm going to say it again. So ask these two questions. What if it fails? And what if I lose my chance? Now, I want to transition to my next segment, defining your ultimate goal. How many of you have goals in your life? Like, what goals do you have in your life? Are they short term? Are they long term? Like, what goals do you have in your life? Because you should have goals. My girlfriend and I just did a goal. We do monthly goals. We have personal goals, and we have a couple goals that we do. And one of them was go to church more often. All right, we have a number. We put it down, and we took the family this past weekend. So define your ultimate goal. All right. And here's how you accomplish this. In order to accomplish anything, whether it's a business, whether it's a new relationship, whatever it is, there's a massive difference between doing something and accomplishing something. All right. In the first case, you take on jobs without any vision of what might come from them. Got me so far? Accomplishing means engaging in activities that will lead you to a particular result. All right. And when you get to that particular result, you got to be very careful on how you then define which goal you can then be genuinely happy about. So, how can you define which goal will make you genuinely happy? That's the biggest key. To determine that, you got to imagine, example, I'm going to give you kind of a strange example here, but imagine your funeral for a second. I know it's really morbid, but then think of the party held for your, let's say, 100th birthday. What happens? Friends and family gather around to discuss your life, your good times, your bad times. And what do you want to hear? Do you want to be remembered for the money you gained in your lifetime, the kindness you had, or your sense of humor, or your innovative mind? Now, the answer to these questions is basically, for those of you that are listening, is your objective in life. And that's a great way to live your life's aim. So, for example, if you have a particular direction you want to follow, you follow that direction so you don't get lost. When discussing successes, all right, many people use the metaphor of what is called a pyramid. Okay. Let me explain it. Once you were born, you're at the bottom, right? You're at the bottom of the pyramid. Then you kind of lay the pyramid's foundation when you enter school, and then you get into the university or college, and everyone's got the similar base because everybody starts out in this pyramid at one particular time, right? Everybody's there. And the pyramid is got a similar base like everybody else. But as you go up this pyramid, what happens? It narrows, and that's kind of where graduation takes place. Now, if you think about this issue with such a perception of success is that it leaves no space for failure or deviation from the course. Okay. And man, I took the scenic route to finish my undergrad. It took me a long time to get there. And this pyramid of success took me a little bit longer. So I probably would say my pyramid was a lot wider than most people because having the opportunity to play college basketball, I ended up dropping out of school and pursued a career in modeling. And that got me to travel all across the United States of America and even into different countries. I did a European tour as well. And then I was realizing that I'm no more spring chicken and I need to go back. So my pyramid was a lot longer than everybody else. Now, what I want you to think about is as you near the top of that pyramid, you can do a couple things here. And if you near the top of the pyramid and make a grave mistake or even lose interest in anything that you're doing, some say that you would then have to start all the way at the bottom again. And in my example, I just elongated the pyramid, right? Widen it, I should say, widen it, because other people's climb, when they climb this ladder of life, I guess, so to speak, or corporate life, whatever one you want to call it, each particular step represents a milestone or a sphere. So the higher you go, the greater your status is. Does that make sense? Here's the tricky part about that ladder, though. It kind of turns life into a competition wheel, right? So what do people generally do then? They waste their potential on outperforming others rather than focusing on inner self growth. I've got a lot of clients that I talk to, and some have lived most of their life. And one of the biggest things they always say is, Michael, I've lived everybody else's life, but I never lived my own. I never concentrated on self growth for myself. And that can be really detrimental if you don't catch it soon enough. Now, I want to make sure that you understand this. Both the pyramid example that I gave you and the ladder example that I gave you are kind of imagery concepts. However, they still have a significant influence on people, on basically how people see their progress and how easily they let it go, how easily they let go of the past and accept the possibility of failure. And you guys, failure is what we put our mind to. If you say you can't do something, it's not going to happen. I want to say this, though. Life is not a line on the chart that shows us how far you've gone. It is you with your thoughts, with your emotions, and with your inner victories and defeats. And when you have all those accumulations of defeats, it builds resilience. Resilience, then, this is what I do, is after it accompanies and goes continuously and you have all these defeats, it develops, because you develop a lot of resilience from it, but then you also gain this anti-fragility piece, which I teach in my framework as a life coach. Now, as you admire role models, the biggest thing here, you guys, is take a time to actually look in the mirror and celebrate you. Celebrate a small stepping stone, whatever it might be. Because if it's another step that you made on that ladder or the pyramid or whatever you want, you're embarking on a journey of what I call self-empowerment. And that allows me to get transitioned into my next segment, where I want to really discuss how to crash the borders of your comfort zone. We all are so comfortable in this little itty bitty bubble. And when we do those things, we don't grow, we don't change. Undoubtedly, the comfort zone is a nice place to be. However, it's going to lead to a lot of anxiety and a lot of failure if you don't know how to manage stability and peace. Let me explain a little bit more. No matter how comfortable you get, you will always stay still if you are in that comfort zone. And especially if you don't challenge yourself to grow personally, professionally. Have you ever caught yourself on a situation where your fear and doubt are stronger than your need to achieve something? And if that's the case, I want you to ask yourself this simple question. What is the worst thing that can happen? Now, just imagine you have a crush on someone. Let's say you got a crush on someone. You observe your romantic interest from the side and you constantly dream of getting together. And you burn with emotions, but the fear, here it is, you guys, the fear of rejection stops you from making that first commitment or that first hello. And to confess is a hit or miss mission. The worst thing is you just saying no or sure. Maybe a broken heart's not fun. However, there's an even worse thing that if you never put forth an effort to pursue what you want, and all those lingering questions and doubts continue to strive in your life, maybe you'll never meet that romantic person that you had feelings for. Or maybe you will never find out how to step out of your comfort zone and truly be your full purposeful self. Because determine, let me say that again. When you can determine what value you bring, meaning positive, negative, you will soon realize that it can be okay. And I want to let me break down some of the risks. Okay. When evaluating risks, it's a perfect tactic before starting a new chapter in your life. If you know potential dangers, you're ready to face them. Apart from determining the worst case scenarios, weigh the pros and cons of each decision. Imagine you want to switch careers. Okay. Your current job is ideal in many senses. The salary is high and there are many perks and you can get promoted easily, right? Or quickly. But there's this tedious work that's really depressing for you. And on the other hand, you could choose plan B that will generate huge profits. However, it can bring you closer to interesting people and extraordinary tasks. It outweighs everything about your current job. And you have to ask then your loved ones to share their thoughts on this situation. And it doesn't mean you must go along with whatever they suggest. However, the decision should come from your heart, you guys. Your friends and family can offer unusually variance from that. I hope that makes sense. My next segment, I really want to go into so I talk a lot about decision making. I've got 3 ways to create positive decision making. All right. So if you're taking notes, this is a great time to do that. What is your inseparable companion when it comes to making decisions? I know mine right away. Is it a mysterious voice of intuition or your emotional self? Or better yet, your good old logical thinking? Now, ideally, all these 3 factors should assist you with your decision-making progress. However, they should not influence them altogether equally. Think of your professional or personal journey as a car ride, for example. Logic should be the driver. Your intuition can be the passenger seat, helping with the directions. Okay. We all have those people, right? Right. And your emotions would be hanging around in the backseat. So let me continue here. Logical thinking is an outstanding quality because what it does, it helps you analyze the risks, predict outcomes, and maximize your benefits. But if it completely mutes your emotions and your gut feelings, your goal can become very overwhelming and burdening, in fact, a burden, and you cannot relinquish, and it won't bring you back happiness. And if your emotions take control of the car ride, prepare to face the consequences of your knee-jerk decisions, right? Because you might act out of spite, you might act out of panic, or just basic wild excitement. And then these emotions can really they can really cloud our judgment. And the same goes for intuition, especially alone. It's not powerful enough to bring success. Very often, fear suppresses gut feelings. And how you eliminate it, always begin to think of probabilities rather than possibilities. Because here's the thing, flying makes you scared out of your wits, right? Maybe it does. I've got a friend that will not fly. Maybe then you do is you check how many airplanes are making their flights every day. You would honestly, you would be surprised at how safe flights are and how it's a mundane activity for some people. Another good strategy is focusing on something you deeply care about. For example, what if the business you are hesitating on to start will help your family prosper? It sounds like good motivation, right? Or here's another scenario. You might have a terrible fear of needles, but you want to go to a blood donation center. And then think about how many lives you could save rather if you win over your anxiety. You guys, I talk about this often. Fear and faith. Fear is completely natural response to unsimilar circumstances or situations. And with those unfamiliar situations comes you have to really become constant and turn it into a significant obstacle. Because when you listen to your fear, it can tell you more about yourself than you actually know. For example, if you're watching continuously news or someone makes a comment that says, "Oh, I don't know if you should bring that person to this different country because they don't know English, and what if you have to ask them to go to the bathroom?" That's fear talking. So bring positive moments in your life, because when you're afraid of jumping right into a venture, it gives you time to mull things over and decide which part of you is dragging you into this: your logic, your emotions, or your intuition. In my next segment, I want to break it down when you're making decisions. And I call this segment It's Okay to Stay. And the excitement that comes when you start something new usually soon wears off after time, right? We all can agree with that. And that's the reality of life. You may face situations where you feel bored or maybe even unmotivated. And in these moments, have an honest conversation with yourself and ask yourself, are you pursuing your dreams? Are you just chasing novelty and a thrill? Because if you switch again, will it align with your future version of yourself? I talk about this a lot with my clients. And in most cases, staying does not mean you are fearful. It means you are committed to do what you need to do at that particular time because you value your job and your relationships with others. And maybe you value it's got a steady income that takes care of your family. And if your company is going through some tough times and you stay, just imagine the loyalty and reliability that you have. And these qualities might be worth more than credentials for your employers. Three main points will help you determine if you choose to stay somewhere, you guys, especially if it's right. All right, here they are. Time. Not satisfied with your new position at work, instead of quitting immediately, set a deadline for this decision. Maybe it's 2 weeks, maybe it's a month, maybe it's a whole year. Everything can change with time. And what you consider dull or challenging in work may be pleasant later. The next one is experience. Experience is the most valuable asset in the modern world. Complex tasks, unexpected projects, and stressful situations challenge you. However, knowing how to deal with them stays with you forever. Every milestone that you bring into your life is a huge life lesson. So take advantage of them as much as possible. The next one, future perspective. If you're choosing an activity and it has at least one element that could lead you to your dream, you may consider staying. And it may include valuable expertise or like a strong team or even maybe more financial stability, right? You want your teams to come true. If you do want them to come true, guess what? It takes a lot of time and a lot of patience and determination. So don't rush what is to come in your life. Imagine it was your childhood dream to have a luxury car. So you go to work, save some money for this purchase, and finally you have all the resources to buy it. In fact, we're in that process right now. Okay. But you realize you only will be it'll be a very tight budget for at least 10 years if you go ahead and go through this process. So you got to ask yourself, is it worth it now? Or is it more reasonable to wait for the right moment? What if this car is outdated after 10 years? Also consider your priorities before fulfilling your dreams. That's a big piece, you guys. You will realize that some can wait. And did you know this? The most dangerous dreams and goals are the ones that seem easy to get, as they make people rash actions and neglect their priorities. As I transition into my next segment, I call it being a quitter. How many of you have been a quitter? Anybody been a quitter? Well, letting go of lifelong dreams can be a painful experience. And it happens because most people think of their aspirations as sacred things. They maybe worship them. In reality, dreams are just part of human nature. And as individuals evolve, so do their goals and ambitions. That's me 101. Because if your current dream does not fulfill you, it may indicate that it has already retired. And how sad is that? Keeping an eye on your mental and physical well-being is extremely vital, y'all. Do you feel you can overcome these things? And when you overcome them, is it full of negative emotions? Or you're tired and you're depressed from your dream workplace? Or how about this? Is it in line with your desired relationship? Or have your colleagues and family notice that you've changed? And if you can answer positively, your quote unquote calling suppresses the authentic you and forces you to sacrifice your welfare. So get out of that rut, get out of that mundane. Because another essential factor that can hint at the necessity of leaving is the environment that the environment that you're in. Now, it doesn't mean you must run away from competitive colleagues or stressful tasks. Those might contribute to your growth. I get it. However, there's little chance you can change and thrive, y'all, in a toxic, hostile environment. So, are your goals and dreams and aspirations, are they liberating? Or let me say that again. Take two. Are your goals and dreams and aspirations liberating, or are they deliberating? Because quitting is also a lesson. And you learn to listen to your inner voice and make space for important things. If you start feeling regretful that you have engaged in this activity and wasted so much time, it's also very healthy feeling. Regret helps you reflect on your mistakes and your potential accomplishments. However, it should not provoke, shame, or humiliate. Your task is to transform your sense of remorse into remembrance. And this is how you do it, y'all. Be sincere with yourself about what happened and what you feel like right now. Don't be afraid to own up to the consequences of your actions. Forget about the expression, if only, because when you reflect on your past, it's much better to use next time. I will do it the other way. Or now that I know, I will, and then fill in the blank. Take a moment, y'all, to consider what you discovered about yourself and others through this valuable experience. Your past cannot change. However, you can use the sources of that past for inspiration and wisdom. And those of you that are listening to the podcast today, kindly please make sure to send it to 5 of your friends if this is really hitting home with you guys. I would truly appreciate that. And give us a 5-star rating. That's how we get moving. I appreciate your love on that. As I wrap up everything today, success cannot exist, y'all, without failure. And I have failed over and over and over. And I think truly that's why I'm successful. And you may make a mistake in your business, maybe your project, maybe you'll even screw up on exams if you're a college student, or maybe you'll even miss a deadline. I've done many of that. But real growth, y'all, happens when you change your perspective of all these failures. It would be best to realize that they do not prevent you from progressing. Instead, they might make you wiser and more mindful. The actual loss is never attempting something you have always wanted to do and spending the last moments of life regretting being fearful. At least you put forth effort, right? Because that's the magical phrase that can really make you feel better, especially if you misstep. Whatever you decide, whether you decide for these decisions, you guys, whatever decision you're about to make, whether it's to stay, to start, or to leave, make sure that it is what your heart and head tell you. Because you might examine your dreams and, worst case scenario, analyze your emotions, but most importantly, do not rush things. Because if you rush things, those can be detrimental, especially if they're a big decision. If you are determined enough, what belongs to you will always find you. And sometimes not directly, however, through sudden acquaintances, trips, work, situations, or flash of insight. And do not listen to what others say, y'all. Don't let them bring you down. In fact, that happens to me so much because people saw the old Michael 10 years ago. They don't know who I am today. And don't listen to what other people say. Because everyone has their own definition of a success. And your version might be far from their ideal version. You are the writer of your story. So make it engaging, make it inspiring so that when you are at the last scene of your life, you can look back and be proud of yourself and maybe even let out a few chuckles. Because here's the application piece, y'all. Here it is. Gain as much experience as possible. Apply for courses, hire a life coach, internship, workshops, or anything that can broaden your horizons. Take your time if you feel too exhausted by the endless successful marathon. Trust me, when I was building my business, it was exhausting. Working a full-time teaching gig and then putting in 3-4 hours a night on your business is a lot. Go on that vacation or that gap year and figure out your life goals. Ask yourself, what advice would I give to my younger self whenever you reach a particular milestone to ensure you have learned life's lesson? Until next time, my friends, as always, 1% better in mind, body, and soul. And most importantly, I'm approaching episode 100. I need your feedback, you guys. Tell me it. Please, please share with me. 1% better in mind, body, and soul. And always stay flexed.